light.
State line, Washington, D.C. For 20 years, the Redskins have sold out every home game here. This will be a record full house for the 151st game at RFK Stadium. Over 55,000 to cheer the Skins as they match up against the Los Angeles Raiders. Hello, everyone. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. This is like getting a... First, Steve Cox drills one deep, spins it down to the goal line. Stephon Adams of the Raiders at the 15, has some daylight at the 30 and bounced out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Out of the field, Mark Wilson. He has Frank Hawkins and Marcus Allen. Allen going for his 11th consecutive 100-yard rushing day. That's already a record at 10. Jesse Hester will not start today. Rod Barksdale will be in his spot. Dokie Williams, the other wide receiver, and Todd Christensen, the tight end. The offensive line, Bruce Davis, Kurt Marsh, Don Mospar, Mickey Marvin, and Henry Lawrence. From the 33. Marcus Allen gets the call on first down and has 5. Defensively, the white-jerseyed Redskins align this way. Charles Mann, he had 14.5 sacks last year. Big Dave Butts, Dean Hamill in the middle. Dexter Manley led the Skins with 15 sacks last season. Kaufman, Olkowitz, and Malott are the linebackers. The back four of Darrell Green, the fastest man in the NFL. Vernon Dean with Ken Coffey and Curtis Jordan at safety. Wilson going long, has Barksdale out there, and it's off his fingertips at the 20-yard line. Rod Barksdale, who did not play high school or college football, but a brilliant All-American in track, a 10-2 sprinter. He caught one for 57 yards against Denver last week.
You've got to be concerned about the lack of speed in a majority of that secondary for the Washington Redskins. Barksdale with blazing speed, able to get clear, and that ball just barely through his hands. There was also something that would bother me if I were on that Redskin sideline. That's the fact that there was so much time for Wilson to throw that football.
Here comes the crowd on 3rd and 5. Wilson dumps it off to Dokie Williams down at the 46 with a first down. Darrell Green made the tackle, a 9-yard pickup. Good protection again for Wilson.
Dick, I think there's something we can look for very quickly. Although Mark Wilson has gone twice now to his outside receivers, I think their Skins are going to have the most difficulty with 2 receivers that will work inside, Marcus Allen and Todd Christensen, because they're going to have to double the outside receivers, and that will give the Raiders time to work inside the 2 very fine receivers there.
Frank Hawkins in motion. Here comes Marcus Allen. Outside on his own ad lib, and look at him go. Marcus Allen almost breaks free for a touchdown. A touchdown-saving tackle by Ken Coffey at the Redskin 34-yard line. 20 yards for Allen.
Marcus Allen last week over 100 yards in both rushing and in receiving. That's only the 17th time that anyone has hit the double century. Look at that ability to feel the opening and then to accelerate and take advantage of it.
The Raiders impressively marched quickly into Washington territory. First down at the Skins 34. Allen, the solo running back behind Wilson. Barksdale in motion. The quickie incomplete and well covered. Dean had Dokie Williams well covered. There's Dean from San Diego State. He was the only rookie starter in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. He had 5 interceptions last year and 7 the year before. Jim Plunkett, who had his biggest day here in Washington 3 years ago in that remarkable 37-35 Washington win. 372 yards. Theismann, Joe Theismann, quarterback of the Skins, was over 400 yards, his all-time high. Draw play, and Dave Butts smothers Marcus Allen, and he had plenty of help. Dean Hamill was in there as well.
Now, we mentioned the Redskins' emphasis on shutting down the running game. And that big number 65, Dave Butts, at 305 pounds. Hamill, who's not as big as Butts, but equally strong, able to shut that play down.
Mickey Marvin being helped off the field. Apparently nothing serious. Kurt Marsh, the other guard. Here comes Bill Lewis from Nebraska, the 7th-round draft pick of the Raiders, to fill Marvin's void. 3rd down and long. Out of bounds, intended for Barksdale. Well covered by Wilburn. And the Raiders fail as they draw inside the Redskin 35 on 3 downs, 2 incomplete passes, and a 4-yard loss. And out of field goal range, apparently.
But they've left the offensive unit on the field.
Oops, a penalty against the Redskins. Illegal use of the hands.
That's 5 yards, and that's a first down.
And that is a tough penalty, a 5-yard penalty, but it carries the automatic first down. And so the Raiders, instead of having to punt the ball away, have 4 more downs as it is marked off inside the 33.
You see the concern of Joe Gibbs, who said, we just can't overcome that many problems, that many mistakes. We have to do things right if we're going to win. The Raiders know about giving a first down by a penalty. They gave up 7 in their game.
Really beat themselves last week. Complete to the tight end Christensen, who gets to the 21-yard line, but a flag is down back where Wilson threw the ball, and we may have holding against the Raiders. Yes, we do.
Like Lawrence had done some tackling on that play. Henry Lawrence, number 70, at the bottom of a stack, trying to give his quarterback a little time.
Number 65, 10 yards, first down.
Marvin, who is back in the game after missing 1 play. 112 yards, most penalty yards tacked on any team in the first week of play, as they lost to Denver 38-36. Penalty takes it back to the 43-yard line. First down and 20. Williams right, Barksdale left. The tight end Christensen anchors the right side of the line. Draw to Marcus Allen. Oh, what a move. Somersaults out of bounds at the 37-yard line. And again, Allen just feeling his way, ad-libbing, if you will, to find some good yardage. Dean and Jordan on the tackle. The incredible Marcus Allen, now in his 5th year with the Raiders. In 60 games and 57 games that he has played on offense, he has scored 60 touchdowns. Talk about a moneymaker.
One of the things that always impresses you about Allen is his body control. The fact that he really rarely gives anyone a shot at him in a situation where he can get hurt. He's very durable in that way.
2nd and 15. Going long and almost intercepted. Intended for either Christensen or Barksdale. They both were in the same spot. Vernon Dean just itching to wrap that interception up at the 10-yard line.
One of the things that the Raiders are concerned about is Barksdale's inexperience, and I think you saw it there.
Our first 10-minute ticker report. The other action in the NFL. No scores to report in those 3 games. Cincinnati with a quick touchdown against Buffalo at home. And New Orleans trying to win its first against Green Bay. Third and 15. Allen. No one there, but Redskins stop short of any first down yardage, and a flag is down, and we could have another costly penalty against the Redskins out of bounds. Ben Dreith, the referee. the Redskins have stopped the Raiders on this drive, only to have a penalty on what otherwise would be a 4th down extend the Raider march. Charles Mann, the defensive end, 71.
Perhaps we'll get a chance to see it. 22, Curtis Jordan takes him out of bounds, and there was the shot. He's clearly out of bounds, 3 yards out of bounds. You just got to stay off of him. And even though he didn't deliver a hard blow, the rules are pretty explicit about any kind of contact at that level when you're out of bounds.
Well, you don't expect in a Raider game to see them benefiting from 1st down penalties. They were giving them away to Denver last week, as Merlin said, 7 of them to the Broncos. They benefited from 2 on this drive. Wilson under pressure throws it away as he was buried by Neil Olkowitz, the middle linebacker. No flag. They were on Ron Jaworski and the Eagles pass offense last week as they defeated the Eagles 41-14. Ball at the 17-yard line.
Chance to look inside at some of the action right there. Number 46, Todd Christensen, bumping into Frank Hawkins, his own man. Collisions, but partly because they're being bumped by the Redskin defenders.
Wilson with time. Christensen can't hold on. Well covered. And flags are down again around the spot where Wilson threw, and Bruce Davis was trying to block. Referee Greif sorting it out. Is it a foul against the Redskins, or was it apparently holding against the Raiders?
Offensive holding, number 79, 10 yards, 2nd down.
They want to push the Raiders as far away from that goal line and the uprights as they can.
Dexter Manley came back with a big game last week after missing almost all of the preseason preparation. Certainly not able to affect his performance that much last week. Very pleasing, I think, for the coaches to see how quickly he fit in. John Madden said on the air last week he wouldn't be able to do it a 2nd week in a row, and Manley said, hey, I'm going to show him.
Marcus Allen. Those long strides down to the 22-yard line where Rich Malott, Curtis Jordan, and Ken Coffey collaborate.
A team defense. I say team defense, every man with specific responsibilities, with concern for his role within the defense. This is not the most talented defensive team by far in the NFL, but they play a very, very solid and disciplined defensive plan.
Tracking Marcus Allen in this first quarter. He has 38 yards already as he goes for his 11th consecutive 100-yard game. He broke the tie with Walter Payton at 9 last week when he made it 10 straight. Wilson on a passing down, 3rd and long. Dokie Williams to the 10-yard line, 3 yards shy of a 1st down. 12 yards on that play. Brings up 4th down at the 10. Here comes the field goal unit. And Chris Barr, who hit 2 for 2 last week at Denver, 43 and 42 yards, will attempt a shorter model here in Washington to try to get the Raiders on the board first.
Dick, you notice how the Raiders will huddle their field goal huddle off to the side. They let Barr stand there all by himself to get his concentration, and then they kind of come in and say, okay, we're ready. Are you ready?
Wilson to hold a 28-yard attempt. And Barr is 3 for 3 on the young season, and with 9:34 remaining in the first quarter, aided by a couple of penalties, the Raiders get a field goal. The Los Angeles Raiders take the opening kickoff, hold the ball about 5.5 minutes, and settle for a 28-yard field goal. And now the Redskins turn. Deep, Keith Griffin and Derek Holloway. Holloway on the near side. Holloway at the 9. And he is stopped just just shy of the 20-yard line. Rookie from Arkansas. Jeff Barnes made the tackle. Redskins offense led by young Jay Schrader, who replaced Theismann when he was injured last year. George Rogers, the former Heisman winner. Then the double tight ends, Don Warren and Clint Didier. Art Monk, who has had a couple of sensational years back-to-back, over 100 to set a record, and then came back with 91 last year. And there are the Hogs: Jacoby, Grimm, Bostic, Thielman, and May. Gary Clark, a compliment to Monk as a wide receiver. Last year he had 72 catches. They were the best 1-2 catching team in the NFL, Monk and Clark. Schrader has a man. It's Monk. And he has close to 10 yards. Stacy Turan with a tackle. Monk from Syracuse. Caught 106 balls 2 years ago, an NFL record. Defensively, Howie Long. We'll keep our eyes on him. We're going to watch him this whole series. Bill Pickell on the nose, their leading sack master the last 2 years. Sean Jones on the other outside, replacing Alzado. Robinson, Millen, McKenzie, and Martin, the linebackers. Lester Hayes and Mike Haynes at the corners, and Stacy Turan. Van McElroy at safety. Joe Gibbs complimenting the fine play of McElroy as we talked to him yesterday. Rogers across the 30-yard line on second and short has a first down. And for the first play, and we expected to see this early on, a little push and shove.
Right at the bottom of that little altercation, as you look at Richie Pettibone, the assistant head coach for the defensive team, talking to Curtis Jordan. But out on the field, Howie Long working nose to nose, jaw to jaw, excuse me, with Don Warren, the extra tight end who'd come in motion and threw his weight on Howie's legs. Howie didn't like that.
Long lining up at a defensive left end position this time. Only Rogers behind Schrader. Play action. Almost intercepted, and it goes right to Don Warren, and he's out of bounds back at the 48-yard line in Washington territory. Turan had the ball, deflected right to Warren for the catch.
Well, that's a trade-off 1-for-1. Vernon Dean had a ball in his hands for the Washington Redskins defense, but Schrader trying to feed that ball to Don Warren, his tight end, and it's a little behind him. You see Turan. I'm sure Turan knew he had that football, but it bounces out of his hands, and Warren tiptoes the sidelines for a first down.
Turan, a former Notre Damer, and he was as close to an interception as the Irish were to winning for Lou Holtz yesterday against Michigan. Little reverse start, Monk. And Monk, good yardage before Lester Hayes gets him out of bounds at the 43 of the Raiders. 10-minute ticker. Giants score first in New York, or in New Jersey. Philadelphia field goal lead at Chicago. Dallas, Detroit, no score. 7-0 Cincinnati at home against Buffalo. Houston takes the early lead, a touchdown against Cleveland. New Orleans jumps out 10-0, and Atlanta leads St. Louis 7-0. Here, 3-0. The Raiders lead the Redskins with 7 minutes, 47 seconds left in the first quarter. Second and a short 2. Rogers. They string it out. Millen got there first, and they drop Rogers for a yard loss. Matt Millen, the big linebacker from Penn State, number 55, made the play.
Interesting, in talking to Joe Gibbs yesterday, he said, we want Rogers running up inside. He said, if I'm running him outside, then I'm not showcasing his talents. And you see why there. He's at his best when he can attack the defense, not trying to outrun them.
On 3rd and 3, in comes number 24, Kelvin Bryant, replacing Rogers. Bryant, big star in the USFL, rushed for over 1,000 yards all 3 years with the Philadelphia and Baltimore Stars. And there he is, a fine pass receiver and runner. Triple right, Schrader underneath, through the hands of Bryant. He was wide open inside the Raider 40. From
almost
North
like a basketball play, Dick, as you watch the 2 wide receivers. Monk now almost screens right there, and he allows Bryant to slip out behind, but that ball thrown with a little zip to it. They say Schrader can really gun it when he wants it out there in a hurry. Went right through Bryant's hands.
Steve Cox, who averaged Nearly 43 yards a punt last week against Philadelphia. That was his 85 average there. He's better than that last week. Napoleon McCallum, a homecoming of sorts for Ensign McCallum, who played just down the road at Annapolis and almost blocked. Was that punt? McCallum a fair catch at the 12-yard line. Jeff Barnes very nearly blocked that punt of Cox, and we have a timeout with 6 minutes 51 seconds remaining in the opening period. For his birthday. What can you possibly get a man? Happy birthday, partner. He's not an Okie yet. It's not a 52 defense yet, but you're close to a very familiar defensive number. No birthday party that, as Marcus Allen is greeted rudely. It's a couple of yards and is close to 40 for this first quarter. 3-0 Raiders on a 28-yard field goal by Chris Barr. 6.5 minutes left in the period. His birthdays do seem to come faster and faster. Do you notice that?
Very little time in between these days, Dick.
It just seemed like we celebrated last year about this time. Williams and Barksdale to the right. Christensen anchors the left side. On 2nd and 7. Underneath the Frank Hawkins and the big fullback appears to have a first down just shy of the 25. Rich Malott and Monty Coleman made the tackle. 9 yards on the game.
Most important man on the field, I think, for either team, certainly the quarterback, Dick. And in the case of the Raiders, Mark Wilson, coming off an extremely solid game in Denver last week. One of the problems he's had in the past is putting big games back to back. But I've got to tell you that everyone in the Raider organization is talking about a new confidence for Mark Wilson. And so far in this game, he certainly appears to be very confident and as being very successful in the way he's directed his team.
3rd down and 7 from the 27. Out of time. And incomplete to Dokie Williams at the Redskin 45-yard line. Williams drawing double coverage from Green and Dean. Make that Curtis Jordan and Green.
That's the kind of play we talked about early. When you're downfield with those long passes, the percentages are not in your favor. But the Raiders not concerned about that. They figure when they hit one, that big one like that, it pays big enough dividends to be worthwhile.
Redskins tough on defense, as you saw last year. Joe Gibbs, that's part of that whole conservative scheme. You can't let the other team score. You got to take the ball away. Don't make mistakes yourself. Marcus Allen again swinging outside, and a good open field tackle by Vernon Dean. And you better be good in the open field with Marcus Allen, the other number 32, running at you.
That's part of that scheme of team defense. Every man with a responsibility, and you know you really try and teach people not to try and do more than they can do, to play within themselves. Bernardine, without the greatest speed in the world, a deadly tackler, really knows how to get good position.
Now a pass situation. Wilson dumps it off to Allen. Clever move inside. Oh, is he rattled at the 31, short of a first down. Coming up from the secondary was Ken Coffey to assist Darrell Green, number 28. And the punting team on for the Raiders, and the fans love their defense. And there goes Green, and he is super dangerous as a punt returner. Green last year averaged 13.4, but 2 returns for touchdowns. 90 and 73 yards were called back, or he would have had a punt return average of 21. Incredible. And this year, well, last week in 3 returns, 17 yards. Ray Guy to deliver the ball.
Let's see if Guy tries to kick away from him.
Very high. Green will fair catch it at the 26-yard line. And with it a timeout, 3 minutes 46 seconds left in the opening period. Beautiful Washington, D.C. day. 3-0 Raiders. 63 championship team, and was your partner with the Rams.
Yeah, played with the Rams for a while. It wasn't quite that big when he was a defensive back.
3-0 Raiders lead. 3:46 left in the first quarter. Redskins start from their own 26. Schrader Complete. Bump. Fumble, but he was down anyway at the 46-yard line. First down as Monk has his second catch. Let's check the ticker. 3-0 Giants over San Diego. 3-0 Eagles lead at Chicago. No score in the second period. Dallas at Detroit. 7-3 Cincinnati leading Buffalo at home. 7-0 Houston. The Oilers continuing on a very positive track. 14-0 Atlanta. 2 touchdowns up early. And look at New Orleans against Green Bay in the first period. First down, Redskins at the 46. George Washington Rogers Jr. to the 49.
Let's go back to that previous play because it will be interesting for you to watch Lester Hayes trying to keep Art Monk from breaking off the line. And Monk got the jump on Hayes in that situation, and it was a perfect pass from Schrader. That's the physical bump and run, man-to-man style of the Raider defense. You saw the fumble, which was not a fumble because Monk was down. But if Schrader can throw that kind of pass on target, he can give the Raiders secondary some problems.
2nd and 7. And smothered back at the 47-yard line. Has a little problem with the snap. Schrader. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Washington Redskins and the National Football League is prohibited.
You see Don Breaux standing next to Joe Gibbs in the yellow shirt, and the signals he was giving, of course, signaling the plays on to Jay Schrader on the field. Gibbs calls the plays, although he has input from Jerry Rome upstairs in the booth.
Kelvin Bryant replaces Rogers. He's the wingman on the right. Schrader steps up and hits Bryant. First down at the 28-yard line. .32 yards on the play.
What a wonderful weapon Kelvin Bryant is for these Redskins. You want to stretch a defense, and when you have a man who can play in the backfield and run the football, who has the speed to get outside, here he is again stacked up, and they're trying to cover him with a linebacker. Jeff Barnes is a fine covering linebacker, but no match for the speed of Kelvin Bryant.
Officially 24 yards on the play. First down at the 28-yard line. Schrader right back to the air. Throws it away. You know, you see Kelvin Bryant in that number 24, and we watched him yesterday at practice for the first time. You think of Lenny Moore, who wore that number, had the same angular build, the great Hall of Famer with the Colts. Of course, here in Washington, they liken Bryant already to Charlie Taylor, the Hall of Famer, who went from running back to wide receiver, and Bryant, in essence, is both.
Does something else that Lenny Moore did. Makes the big plays. Touched the ball 10 times last week and averaged 11.2 yards every time he got his hands on the pumpkin. Now, that's the kind of thing that'll make a coach smile.
That's 112 yards, and he only touched the ball 10 times. Second and 10, Monk in motion. Going for Bryant. And broken up at the last minute by 26-man McElroy. It was McElroy on that very talented Raider defense that Gibbs pointed out first yesterday. He said he thinks in the AFC he is the best free safety.
You see him covering ground here as he comes in to try and help on that play. Reggie McKenzie covering man-to-man. And boy, you don't want to leave, as we said, you don't want to leave the speed of Bryant on a linebacker. But McElroy back there to help. He reads the quarterback's eyes and tries to get a jump on the play, which he did. He was reception, Dick.
McElroy, a Pro Bowler out of Baylor University. Now 3rd and 10, and the Raiders will be teeing off on Schrader. In trouble, and he had to throw that one away as Howie Long and Stacy Turan were applying the pressure. Field goal situation. In comes Mark Mosley.
In that kind of situation, Schrader instructed not to take the sack, not to take a risk with the sack. They know that they are in range to try the shot at the field goal. A deliberate rollout. But watch Greg Townsend, number 93, working over the top of Kelvin Bryant. It's a little throwdown there. A double team by Mark May, number 73. But it was Howie Long who put the heat on Schrader. Schrader threw it away so they could give Mosley a shot at it.
45-yard attempt by Mark Mosley to tie the game. And the straight-ahead kicker nails that one cleanly. Mosley, who kicked his only field goal attempt last week from 19, drills one from 45, and with 22 seconds in the second period, it's the Redskins 3 and 3. Oh, he's got a powerful leg. Kicks it to Stephon Adams, and it takes him out of bounds. Boy, that's a well-directed kick. Adams electing to receive it and not let it go out of bounds, and the ball carried him out of bounds inside the 10.
Boy, you love that if you're Wayne Sevier, the special teams coach, because that'll go down as about a yard return. Catches the ball, can't control his momentum, and right there you see him stepping on the sideline. That's got kickoff returns of the year. Should have let it go out of bounds, is what he's saying. Steve Ortmeyer, the special teams coach for the Raiders.
Still 3-0 Giants, 3-0 Eagles, and Dallas scored on a Tony Dorsett run. Cincinnati 7-3. Houston scored on a fumble recovery by Munchak. 14-0 Atlanta and 17-0 New Orleans. Flag down, and so is Marcus Allen. With just a few ticks left on the clock here in the first quarter, Dexter Manley in on the bottom of that pile, and it's against the Raiders.
They're saying they don't want it now, I think.
Motion. Dave Butts. He's quite an interesting guy.
Motion, left guard. Decline the penalty. Second down.
Butts, along with playing some heavy-duty football, the other number 65 in the Redskin Whites, is quite artistic with wooden decoys, duck decoys.
One of the things he enjoys doing. Told me he spent this offseason not only working with some decoys and carving them. In fact, we have one. Maybe we can show it later on. But also doing a lot of reconstruction on his house, wiring, putting up a couple of new bedrooms in the house,
and making some wine as well. He is multi-talented. That's the end of the quarter. 3-all tie.
I'm ready.
Merlin Olsen, welcome back to RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C., where the Raiders and the Redskins are tied at 3. Los Angeles ball just across their 10-yard line as we open the second quarter. Second down and 8. Marcus Allen with 45 yards in the first quarter. Wilson going to Todd Christensen, incomplete at the 45-yard line. Ken Coffey, the cover man.
Todd Christensen, one of the most productive of tight ends, and certainly the kind of guy that has a wonderful knack of getting open. You wonder what the quarterback is looking at downfield. Wilson had Todd away until the last possible second. That ball out, looping it across, get it over to Ken Coffey, but just beyond the outstretched arms of his tight end.
Christensen, who has led the Raiders in receptions the last 3 years without a catch thus far. It's third down and 8. That's going to be intercepted. Curtis Jordan all the way to the 10-yard line. First turnover goes to Washington.
Dokie Williams broke that pattern off, and it looked like Mark Wilson expected him to break to the outside. Well, you see right there why Curtis Jordan loves to see pressure on the quarterback. When you got that heat on the quarterback, you can force the bad throw.
He had 5 receptions last year. That is the 15th of Jordan's career. Texas Tech, now ex-Red Raider, has the ball at the Raider 13-yard line. to Rogers. Fumble, and it's covered. No, it isn't covered. The Raiders have it at the 22-yard line, and down at the 25, another fumble. Jerry Robinson had it initially, number 57. He fumbled it back, and now let's see who is in possession.
They say it's a Raider football, but boy, when you got a chance to go ahead and you got to turn over and you turn right around, that was an option play by Schrader.
He didn't see Howie Long from the backside.
Howie Long, a smart play. He knew he was going to have time to come in from the backside. Watch it here. Now watch Schrader stop right there. Look at Howie. Comes in and lose. Chance right there for but certainly by Piquel on the sideline.
Sean Jones actually got in under Piquel to recover it. And here comes Frank Hawkins with a Washington defense king on Marcus Allen. Hawkins, the fullback from Nevada Reno, picks up good yardage.
A couple of very fine young defensive linemen. I got to tell you, Piquel coming along so quickly at the nose tackle position, unusual because of his build. But I've got to believe
because he's so tall.
He's so tall. You know, usually you take a fire hydrant, put him in on those centers. Earl Leggett, defensive line coach, I'm sure extremely proud of the way he acted. That's a confident defense that walks right out there.
With a knot on the left hand.
Knot on his hand. Look at that. Woof. Stepped on, we understand, on the first play of the game. You might remember that Mark Wilson had some problems with that hand earlier.
One of the Raiders being helped off the field, Kurt Marsh, the starting guard from Washington, who has had his share of injuries, just as Mickey Marvin left for a play in the first quarter, but is back.
Charlie Hanna, they've got to decide what they want to do with Charlie. He held out, was recently signed, now back in camp. That might be the solution to the problem right there. They squandered the Raiders there.
Over the middle, almost intercepted by Ken Coffey. He was wrestling with Todd Christensen for the ball. Replacing the injured Marsh is number 77. Nope, not Lyle Alzado. 77 is now worn by Chris Ream. As Williams well covered on the far side by Darrell Green. And the penalty apparently against the Raiders. Against number 77, reading the lips of Drythe, Chris Ream. First game in the National Football League for Ream, who played his college ball at Ohio State.
He's getting a little coaching on the sideline from Art Shell. You see him on the right. That's pressure. You're not expecting really to play, and all of a sudden you've got to go in there, and the Redskins know it's a pass. They're coming all out.
Guy's first punt, 41 yards, no return. Darrell Green back at the Redskins 28. High end over end. Green at the 34-yard line. Did not fair catch the ball. Stephen Adams was there to cover. 35-yard punt. Again, no return yardage for the Redskins, and a timeout. Back to Washington, D.C., RFK Stadium. The Redskins with the ball. George Rogers up the middle to his own 38-yard line, short yardage. And on our NBC scoreboard, every 10 minutes, you'll be brought up to date on all the action throughout the National Football League. Stump Mitchell has scored for the St. Louis Cardinals as they draw to 14-7 against Atlanta. And Boomer Esiason to Eddie Brown, that Cincinnati touchdown, make it 14-3 against Buffalo. Second down, along 6. Rogers blasting up the middle, still on his feet, all the way to the 45. 16 tough yards for George Rogers, who replaced number 44, John Riggins.
Watch the trap blocking here by R.C. Thielman as he'll come from this position and stump a block over into here. A block on the backside by the center Bostic on Piquel, and the double team down. That opened the hole for Rogers, who exploded right over the top of bodies inside.
First down at the Raider 46, a 3-all tie, early second quarter. Rogers again trying the middle, has about 5 more before 3 black jerseys can converge on his 229-pound frame. Rushing yards last 5 years, of course, 4 of the 5 years for Rogers at New Orleans with the Saints, third only to Peyton and Dorsett, former Heisman winner, the Gamecocks of South Carolina.
I think one of the things that he was happiest about last week, aside from an excellent game, was the fact that he didn't fumble the football. A high premium here, as you mentioned earlier, on not coughing the football out, not turning it over.
Rogers again, and the Redskins are finding running room up the middle behind that huge offensive line of Bostic, Grimm and Thielman, the guards, Jacoby and May, the tackles, just forging ahead for Rogers.
Down in the trenches, you see these big horses, and let's just turn them loose up front. It's the same play again, just that little trap with in behind the double team, and he didn't get a great block on that play, but Rogers didn't need it. He just squared his shoulders up and blew up. They love the left side of that line. The big hogs on the left are fun to run behind if you're a running back.
4 straight carries by Rogers on this drive. 5, 15, 6, and 5 yards. Now they fake to Rogers. Howie Long gets a piece of Schrader, and then the tackle is made by Sean Jones, but it was Long who spun the quarterback around and set him up for the sack.
Undress the quarterback. No question about it. This man can do it as well as anyone in football. You see him at the bottom of your picture, 75. A move inside gets away from Mark May, and Schrader, who thought after those successful runs he was going to have time to throw the football, is down by number 99, Sean Jones.
The Raiders second only to the Giants in sacking the quarterback last year. Had 3 last week at Denver, so 4 on the new year. Second and long. Calvin Bryant now in the picture for Washington. And he carries for the first time. And Bryant, who wears 24, the same number that Joe Washington used when he was that second back, the long yardage back in the Gibbs offense. And he gains about 6 on that carry.
Let's go back down in the pits and watch them again as they anticipate the all-out rush. Try and take advantage of it with a little quick draw play, a little quick drag play up inside. Bryant, you know what I like about him? He's so quick to pop out of that position and into a full gallop.
3rd and 11. That's Don Warren, the tight end in the backfield, helping out Schrader, who has to throw that one around the coverage, and Monk can't come up with it. Lester Hayes, the defender.
Chance to watch Lester Hayes again trying to work on Art Monk. Monk just goes in and hooks up. Lester, who's man on man. Look at the little pull on Monk to pull him away from that football.
Steve Cox to punt. Napoleon McCallum at the 10. Cox will try to drop this one down around the 10 and hope to get a fair catch.
Wayne Sevier very impressed with the qualities of Napoleon McCallum as a return man.
A dying Swan that's going to go to the 8-yard line and covered well by the Redskins. 28-yard punt, but that's all Cox wanted, to get the ball inside the 10. Work of Dave Butts, who carves these wooden decoys and gave it to you, partner, not to me.
Yeah, well, he said it. He gives one to all the broadcasters who played in the defensive line for more than 15 years. So
I just missed. No decoy on that play as the Raiders from deep in their own end get it out to about the 12-yard line. Marcus Allen. Here it's 3-all in Washington. And it's that 10-minute time. Giants extend their lead. Philadelphia still on a 3-0. Dallas 7-0. All second quarter scores. Cincinnati by 11. Houston 7-0. Ooh, look at New Orleans. 24-3 over Green Bay. You're up to date. Allen flying out to the 18-yard line. I believe has the first down. Olkowitz submarining on the tackle.
all a question of where they mark the football.
Now they're going to put it back, maybe shy of the first down. He rolled out to the 20, but they put it down between the 17 and 18.
I think they're still going to have to measure it, Dick.
Yeah, that gives us a chance to talk about the value of Marcus Allen. Like Rodgers of the Redskins, a Heisman Award winner, and as a senior set an NCAA record of 2,300 yards with the Trojans of Southern California. And what a valuable first-round pick he was for the Raiders. He's just shy of the first down. And on this first half of play, Marcus Allen has 54 yards rushing. We pause briefly for station identification from Washington. This is the NBC television network. Third and short. Who else but Allen? And he chews up another chunk out to the 26-yard line. And apparently on his way to another 100-yard game, furthering his own record, looks for his 11th in a row. And they're not counting the 100-yard game he had against the Patriots in the playoff in that string.
Those are regular season games. He's up to 63 already as you watch him there. And Dick, I've always felt that one of the ways to measure the ability of a back was to look at how many yards they make after they take that first hit by the defense. Allen actually drugged one of the linebackers about 7 yards. Actually, back about 7 yards on that play.
And now he shows his pass receiving talent. And again, after he was hit, able to twist for another yard and a half in the grasp of Olkowitz and Mel Kaufman. Last year, Allen, who was the top rusher in the National Football League with 1,759 yards rushing, but also caught 67 passes and over an 8-yard average, as you see.
Another man who's working on milestones today, Neil Olkowitz, started this game 3 tackles away from making 1,000 tackles. Now that's impressive.
That's a lot of lumps. Frank Hawkins to the 37. That'll be close to a first down. Olkowitz, number 52, made the tackle. He's from Maryland, nicknamed the Mole.
Boy, he has burrowed underneath a lot of piles, and he's the kind of man you love to play with. I'll tell you, he never plays at anything less than full speed.
It's 3-all here in Washington. Let's go to New York.
All right, Dick, in Cincinnati, Buffalo cuts into the Bengals' lead with this 6-yard touchdown run by Rob Riddick. They then proceeded to miss the point after. So Cincinnati has the lead at 14-9 in the second. Back to RFK.
All right, Bob Costas, and of course we invite all you folks around the nation to stay tuned for NFL 86 at halftime. Special feature on Big Daddy Lipscomb, as well as all the big plays of the early games. First down for the Raiders. Hawkins picked up the necessary yardage, and here's Wilson to throw. Wide open Allen. Oh, what a move. And another. First down. Marvelous Marcus Allen. 12 yards.
Shake, rattle, and roll. Watch him as he goes to the outside here. He has a gain of about 2 yards now, but watch what he does with this short reception. There's a missed tackle. Mel Kaufman misses another one there, and then spotting a little opening, just propels himself, picked up the last 6 yards after he was cornered by the defense.
Later it'll be our Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. And, of course, Marcus Allen always figures to be in the balloting for that award. Mel Kaufman from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Bobby Beathard, the outstanding young general manager of the Redskins, with a terrific eye for collegiate talent, also went to Cal Poly. Kaufman, one of the top free agent picks. He's a free agent. Olkowitz is a free agent, playing in that defense.
Had 5 make the squad this year.
On first down, Allen runs into a pile, reverses his field, and somehow makes a couple of yards out of it at the 50. Ken Coffey, fortunately for the Redskins, had penetrated and was in Allen's path. It was the only white jersey that would have stopped him from reversing that a la the Super Bowl 3 years ago.
Redskins will never forget that long run. What, 76 yards?
74.
74 yards that Marcus Allen made in that game. And interesting to note that although his yardage set a Super Bowl record, the big plays were on broken plays. And that's where the great athlete really shines. Whether he be a quarterback or a running back, it's the ability to do something when a play breaks down that sets them apart.
He gets a breather, and Napoleon McCallum has replaced him. Underneath to Hawkins, and the fullback is just shy of the first down at the Redskin 43. Darrell Green down low with the tackle, assisted by Neil Olkowitz. Green, as you saw on NBC Sports World after our game from London, the Bears and the Cowboys, winning the NFL's fastest man contest. He beat Philip Epps of the Packers in the quarterfinals, then Ron Brown, world-class sprinter in the semis, and Willie Gault, an Olympian, in the finals. So he is the fastest man in the NFL, and don't you think he's proud of that? He says, I'm ready to go back and defend next year. Third and short. McCallum didn't get much, but he didn't need an awful lot. It's going to be close. From this angle, it appears he got the first down. They may need to measure.
Napoleon McCallum, a very straight-up runner, rather unique in that way. But talking to Wayne Sevier, who coaches the special teams here in Washington, said that McCallum, as a punt returner, reminds him a great deal of Mike Nelms, who did such a great job for the Redskins for many years. Marcus putting on his war gear to come back onto the field. I believe it's going to be enough for the first down, Dick.
Those defensive linemen, they have eyes like eagles.
I'd say I hated it, though, when the offense made them. I always wanted them to be short.
Especially by just that much.
Oh, yes.
Marcus Allen back in there, and he's been a key on this drive. 3-all. 45-yard field goal by Mosley in the second quarter, after the Raiders took the early lead on a 28-yard field goal by Chris Barr. By the way, that was Napoleon McCallum's first NFL rush. Wilson just gets it away, incomplete to Hawkins. Charles Mann, number 71, applying some heat. 74, rookie Marcus Cook, K-O-C-H, pronounces his last name Cook, from Boise State. He was the Redskins' #2 draft pick. Double-A, All-American, 3 times, all Big Sky out there at Boise State.
Beautiful country up in Idaho.
Wilson, so-so in the pass department. Marcus Allen. Down for a loss. Dave Butts. Five-yard deficit.
Big Dave just steamrollered inside. Watch him from the left. There's in there, and that'll kill. Drop every time. They're anticipating that they're going to let those defensive linemen penetrate. Butts swinging across on the stunt. There's no way to block him on that play. That's the perfect call defensively.
He was drafted by the Cardinals in the first round back in '73. This is his 14th year, and he forces the Raiders into a 3rd and 14. Good protection again for Wilson. Now it breaks down, and the Redskins have their first sack. Monty Coleman, number 51.
Well, if you're going to blitz, you better get there. And the Redskins know that as they approach on this play. Kaufman coming inside. Coleman is coming on the outside, and you just don't have enough people to pick up all those white shirts. Wilson finally went down to lost 12 yards on the play, Dick.
He looked right and looked left, but both receivers were covered. Guy to kick. Green, dangerous, back at the Skins 15.
Another great kick.
Green has to fair catch it at the 10-yard line. So Ray Guy, 3 punts in the half, all 3 forced Green to fair catch the ball. That one goes for 48 yards and a timeout. 2:20 left in the half.
In the NFL, Ray Guy, and he is out of his slump. Said he was in a slump last week. He's out of it now, believe me.
From the 11-yard line, George Rogers. And he burrows for about 3 yards as we approach the 2-minute warning, and we approach this report from NFL 86.
Well, Dick Enberg, as Merlin Olsen will tell you on his birthday, this would be a dream gift for any lineman. The Phil Simms pass off the head of Thomas Benson into the arms of rookie defensive lineman Leslie O'Neal, the Chargers' #1 pick from Oklahoma State. So it remains 10-0 Giants after the turnover.
But nevertheless, part of the story there, the Chargers with 50 last week and shut out thus far by the Giants on this Sunday. Timeout, 2 minutes left in the half.
Your brother. Not the bigger brother. Raleigh's got him by about 30 pounds.
2nd down and 7. Said Nashville, Knoxville, Tennessee. Kelvin Bryant working hard to get a couple. Pinned back by Reggie McKenzie.
Interesting to note, I mentioned that Raleigh is 30 pounds heavier, and that's of course because he plays in the offensive line, needs that extra weight, and is bulking up for a different position than the linebacker Reggie, as you see there, who's got to concentrate more on his ability to run and speed, covering the backs downfield rather than the physical strength needed in the trenches.
A couple of remarkable young men. McKenzie of the Raiders was a 10th round pick, and his brother Raleigh was an 11th round choice. Late picks by both clubs, and they both made the big league roster. 3rd and a long 6, and it's a long fall for Schrader as he trips going back from center, and Howie Long right there to make sure he doesn't get up at the 10-yard line, and the Redskins with 1:11 left will have to punt, and the Raiders immediately call time. Boy, that Long, how quick he is. He gets Schrader, then gets the referee's attention. Timeout. Full spiral. McCallum backpedals to the 39. Looking for a block, and there isn't one, and down he goes, and with it a flag. Todd Bowles, a rookie defensive back, made the play. Bowles from Temple University, number 23. 52-yard punt, no return, and a penalty against the Raiders, apparently.
Great kick by Cox, and even better coverage. Very often when you kick the ball far, you outkick your coverage. But McCallum, figuring he could get to the outside, nailed down, and there is a penalty against the Raiders.
Illegal block, number 82, receiving team, 10 yards, first down.
So the Raiders, who appeared to be in excellent position with that punt from the goal line by the Redskins, where they might have midfield position and a minute left to try to take the lead here at the end of the first half, instead find themselves pushed back to their own 32.5-yard line. All the highlights coming up on NFL 86 at the intermission, so stay with us. Barksdale, sprinter speed to the left. Dokie Williams, hardly slow to the right. Underneath they go to Frank Hawkins, and he stopped immediately at the 35. Green.
No huddle. They're quickly to the line.
Raiders have 2 timeouts left. You see the clock. That's the official clock ticking away. 40 seconds. Wilson again out of the backfield to Hawkins, trying to get out of bounds, and does with some help at the 38, but it's only a 3-yard pickup. Mel Kaufman made the play. 36 seconds left in the half. I think everyone expected, especially in light of the game, that tremendous game. Remember 3 years ago when they battled
37-35 here, and one of the great comebacks in Redskin history. You know, I was just thinking, though, Dick, as the clock ticks down, you talked about the scars that Joe Gibbs has. He was mentioning the 12-second play in the Super Bowl when they threw the ball, intercepted by Squire, and carried in for the touchdown. Never that one either.
Most painful loss of his coaching career, and down goes Wilson as Steve Hamilton, who had 2 sacks last week against the Eagles, comes up with a second Redskin sack of this first half.
Redskins substituting inside with Darrell Brandt and Hamilton. Hamilton, a third defensive end. He goes in on the pass rush, gives them great quickness inside. They really were able to take advantage of it there as he finds himself on Marsh. A good job on Marsh, just breaks clean right there at the left side of your screen, and there's nowhere for Mark Wilson to go.
Sack back at the 30-yard line, and the Redskins call time with 31 seconds left in the half, and they're hoping that their dangerous return man, Darrell Green, will get a chance to bring one back against the sage veteran kicker guy of the Raiders, who will try to either keep the ball away or hang it so high that Green doesn't have a chance. No chance yet for Plunkett in this new season. Veteran from Stanford, now 38 years old. Chargers score before the half to cut the Giant lead. Well, still 3-0 in Chicago. 14-9 Cincinnati. Still Houston on that fumble recovery. New Orleans big against Green Bay, and Atlanta leading St. Louis by 4. Here it's 3-all. 31 seconds left. First half. 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Guy, a short kick. Green has a chance to return it. 34. He's got tremendous speed. Flags are down. And so is Green. And apparently the Redskins, when Green made that little move to try to set up a blocker, he actually put a blocker in a position where he had to hit in the back.
With Philadelphia still leading, do you think Buddy Ryan will call a press conference if the Eagles beat the Chicago Bears?
He might have one at halftime.
Illegal block on number 46 of the receiving team. 10 yards. First down.
So just as it was for the Raiders with a penalty on the kick return that took them back toward their own goal line, so it is now for Washington. And with 18 seconds left, one would figure from their own 26-yard line that the Skins won't take any chances.
I think the memory we just mentioned, the 12 seconds to go before the half in the Super Bowl down in Tampa, when Gibbs elected to have Theismann try the little screen pass, which ended up going into the end zone in the hands of Jack Squarick. That's the kind of thing that would encourage you to play the conservative game at this point.
Although he does have Kelvin Bryant, not Rodgers, in the backfield.
Let's see how far they throw it.
Just that far. Right into the stomach of Bryant. He was pinned down after a 2-yard pickup, and that will be the end of the first half.
Bryant is hurt. Looks like Bryant took a real shot in there. He is still on the ground.
5 seconds on the clock, and that could be a much bigger play than just a little ordinary 2-yard gain at the end of a half. Sean Jones, and he had someone else in there in that tackle, and they twisted Bryant.
Let's go back and take it up and take another peek at it. Maybe we can see what happened at the end of that run. Jones has a hold of him from the backside. 57 Robinson, and his leg is twisted underneath Jones as he goes over the top. He's finally able to pull it loose, but they are concerned about his left leg. You saw him moving that left leg, and now they're looking at the amount of flex in the other leg, which will give them an idea for what kind of damage has possibly been done to the knee. But oh, if they were to lose him, that would be such a critical loss. He gives them so much dimension in plays, and Joe Gibbs was talking about how excited he was to have him there, and he is up. You hear the sighs and the happy response of these fans. I got to tell you, that's going to be a heart stopper if you're down on that Redskins sideline.
Kelvin Bryant with the Tar Heels. He was the star on that football team while Michael Jordan was making all those spectacular flying dunks for Dean Smith. Last play of the half, unless we have a penalty against the Raiders. And Schrader sits out the final seconds. Oh, in contrast to the 72 points these two teams scored 3 years ago in that 37-35 Redskin win, a couple of field goals, and that's it, 3-all. Somewhat surprising, or are you surprised?
Well, I know that the emphasis of these two teams is on good defense. They both play outstanding defense, but I don't think either offense has had a very good first half. I'm sure the one thing that's going to be talked about in the Redskin locker room is the missed opportunity. When Vernon Dean got the interception, had them in position to score down there, they turned around, they ran an option play, and fumbled the ball back when Howie Long got Schrader from behind. I think that perhaps was the biggest play of the first half.
And, of course, then the turnovers were even at 1-all. We pointed that out. Washington almost unbeatable when they had the advantage in that turnover table. 1-all at the half, 3-all to score here at RFK in Washington, D.C. Now let's check on all the action in the NFL as we go to New York.
At Kansas City, but they're in front of Kelly and company here, 21-9. One of the reasons they've been able to establish a running game behind the bruising fullback Larry Kinnebrew. The guy weighs 250, 260. He's just dragging people. 22 on that play. Later in the same drive, he takes a pitch and he spreads people all over the field on his way to the end zone. The flag on the play was against Buffalo. The touchdown holds up. A bit later, Boomer Esiason goes to the air. Here's one of the NFL's best quarterbacks, and what a core of receivers he has. This one works for 35 to Eddie Brown, the second-year speedster out of Miami. He's also got rookie Tim McGee from Tennessee, and of course the veteran all-star Chris Collinsworth. He'll go back to Brown again on this one. It's a 17-yard touchdown play, and it ups the score to 21-9. Earlier in the game, Buffalo's Rob Riddick had a 6-yard scoring run, but they missed the point after. So the Bills, the defense.
What happened was he had the covered. Martin was covered. And down on the Super. Was Magamo, and James Haynes had that one thrown right to him. And
we mentioned them to you earlier, turnovers. One surprising thing, look at the time of possession. The Redskins, a possession team. They like to throw the short possession passes and run the football, and yet the Raiders have controlled the first half.
Two penalties that extended that drive against Washington that allowed the Raiders to get a 28-yard field goal by that man, Chris Barr. And then Mike Mosley drilled run from 45 yards late in the first quarter to tie the game. We're underway in the second half. Keith Griffin, number 35, at the 2. And the youngest of that famed Griffin family from Columbus, Ohio, returns it out to the 23-yard line. Jeff Barnes, 56, special team star and captain of the Raiders, made the tackle. Schrader takes his team onto the field. Jay Schrader, who signed out of UCLA a contract, a bonus contract in baseball with the Toronto Blue Jays, who have gone for that multi-talented player. They, of course, signed Danny Ainge out of BYU. Ainge eventually not making it baseball and starring with the Celtics. Rick Leach, the former Michigan quarterback, did make it in baseball. Schrader did not after 3 years, and now the Washington Redskins starter. George Rogers hammering it up the middle, a couple of yards. Rod Martin and company for the Raiders. Let's set them defensively. Howie Long, Bill Pickel, Sean Jones, the front three, the linebackers Robinson, Millen, McKenzie, and Martin. Hayes and Haynes at the corners, and Turan and McElroy at safety. Rogers comes out on 2nd and 8, and Keith Griffin is in the backfield for the first time.
Dick, just glancing down on the sideline, I can't see Kelvin Bryant.
Sprained ankle and knee, we understand now. We just get that report, and will not return today. That's why Griffin's in there. Art Monk, short yardage. Mike Haynes, number 22 on the coverage. Short of the first down. 4 yards for Monk. That's only the 3rd reception by a wide receiver for the Redskins. Monk has all 3. And Dokie Williams has only 2, and those are the only 2 the Raiders wideouts have caught.
It is for 30 yards.
Situation substitution by both defenses. This situation, the Raiders expecting pass, have their swifter people on the field.
3rd and 4. Didier, the only man in the backfield, the tight end. He's in there to block. Oh, that'll be interference on Jeff Barnes as he goes over the top of Keith Griffin. Barnes in one of those positions where I think probably he felt he had a chance at an interception, but the timing wasn't there.
The Raiders saying that was an uncatchable pass, but really a foolish mistake by Barnes. Even if that pass had been caught, it could not have been for the first down.
The interference, the automatic first down penalty.
You'll see it on the left side of your screen. There's Griffin. He's well inside of the first down yardage, and you cannot go through the intended receiver to get at that football. Really a classic example of the enforcement of that rule, as he is ticketed for defensive interference on the play.
1 yard penalty, but more importantly, a first down Washington at their 29. Schrader under pressure. Sean Jones. And the second line of defense from Jerry Robinson, the linebacker. 3rd sack for the Raiders.
Battle of giants over there. Sean Jones at 6'7", 260 pounds, wants to be about 270, is having a hard time holding his weight, working one-on-one on Joe Jacoby. Jake is about 6'6", 305 pounds. I said, is that accurate? And he said, when I can find a scale, it'll handle it.
Joe Jacoby, a free agent pick out of Louisville and an all-pro tackle with the Redskins.
Howie Long over on Jacoby this time as they put Sean Jones inside on the nose.
2nd and long. Schrader inside his 10. Over the middle. Intercepted by Turan. Stacy Turan to the 27-yard line, and the Raiders have their first interception. It went off the hands of Gary Clark, and there were nothing but black jerseys when that ball started to fall.
2 interceptions in the last 2 weeks for Schrader, both bouncing out of the hands of intended receivers. He had that kind of luck last week as you look from behind. Schrader under pressure, but has time here to spot the receiver. Gets outside. He is a mobile quarterback. Fires it back inside, and that ball should have been caught. Gary Clark should have come down with that football. Instead, the Raiders get the big break. And now can they do what the Redskins failed to do in the first half, which is to turn it into points?
Well, Marcus Allen gets the call as first play for the Raiders on offense in the second half. And Marcus Allen now with 4 more to go, 65 yards as you look at Jay Schrader. One of the things they like about this young man, despite his inexperience, he didn't play much in college at UCLA. He started only 1 game. He and Dokie Williams have that common factor. Terry Donahue had that kind of talent. Neither man saw much playing time, but both potential stars in this National Football League. Schrader, good mobility, doesn't throw the interception, makes good decisions, and you can't blame him for that intercept.
The other thing they like about him, he's not a very emotionally up and down kind of quarterback. Very stable that way. You can see right there, he's thinking about the good things he wants to do the next time he has the football.
Meantime, Mark Wilson at the line of scrimmage had to use a timeout, and with that, 12:37 left third quarter. Down as we look at the Raider sidelines.
See the plays going in from the sideline. Sam Bogosian on the right of Tom Flores on the left. Larry Keenan, quarterback coach, and he will signal in the plays. Rusty Hilger, with his back to us there, will stand in front of the quarterback coach to kind of shield him the other sideline, just in case someone is trying to read the plays from the far side of the field. There's Mark. You saw him getting the play from the sideline, quickly calling it. He's worried about the 30-second clock.
3rd and a long yard. Big play. And you give it to the big back, Marcus Allen. He's at the 15, and he's down close to the 10-yard line before he's bounced out of bounds, following the block of Frank Hawkins. Vernon Dean there to make the defensive play. Allen with 8 more yards and a first down, Los Angeles at the 12-yard line.
There's Richie Pettibone on the far side now. Of course, he's signaling in the defensive calls for the defensive team. You see him, he's listening to Larry Peccatello, defensive coordinator upstairs. There was the call. Very simple calls defensively.
They'll be because of the IQ of the defensive players versus the...
No.
Nothing personal. First down at the 12. Allen up the middle. Oh, and trying to make his cut away from Vernon Dean. His feet went out from beneath him. And it's fortunate that this is natural turf. That's the kind of play where in the artificial carpet often you see that knee go, but the grass gave and not the body. And Allen is down at about the 7. Brings us to a 10-minute ticker update. Halftime scores, Philadelphia, that's the big surprise thus far, leading the Bears 3-0 in Chicago. Dallas big. Cincinnati has opened its lead. Cleveland has hit a field goal. Atlanta by 4. New Orleans by 21. Here it's 3-all. On 2nd and 6, Marcus Allen. Inside, didn't get much, down at the 6-yard line in the grass of Darrell Green, number 28. He's only 5'8" and 170, one of the many players out of the Houston high school system to make it big in the NFL. Boy, do they have great football teams in Texas, but Houston, boy, when you make out your notes for each game, you see every team has somebody seemingly that played in Houston.
Darrell Green learned, I'm sure, that you've got to close the distance on those receivers, especially one like Marcus Allen. Did it very quickly there. Small gain, and Mark Wilson had trouble with the formation here.
3rd and 4 for the first down, 6 yards for the touchdown. Allen in motion. He had to throw it away. Under pressure. Curtis Jordan. They sent that safety man on a blitz, and he was there too quickly for Wilson. And Wilson had no chance to search out a target.
The Redskin defense has always felt that when you get down close to the goal line, that's a time when they can afford to blitz. Not a lot of room for receivers to get open. They sent the safety blitz along with the linebackers, and they got what they wanted. They forced the field goal opportunity instead of the touchdown.
Not much more than an extra point, about a 24-yard attempt. And Chris Barr hits it easily. He's 4 for 4 on the season. And with 10:49 remaining in the third quarter, the Raiders turn the interception by Turan into a field goal. Saturday as Chris Barr spins it to Keith Griffin at the 1. 20, and down at the 24-yard line. Good coverage by the Raiders just when it appeared that he had some running room. Andy Parker, number 81. And here comes Schrader and the Washington offense.
You tear out some of the pages of that Washington offense when you take Kelvin Bryant out of there. And I'm sure that Joe Gibbs very conscious of that. You have to lean back very heavily then on the running talents of number 38, George Rogers, and try and work more effectively to your wide receivers and your tight ends.
Again, Kelvin Bryant, final play of the first half, injuring both an ankle and a knee. We don't know how serious that injury is, but he won't play the rest of today is the report. Gary Clark making amends for the pass he didn't catch, and he's out of bounds at the 37 with a first down. Mike Haynes on the coverage. Let's go back to that play in the first half. Here's what happened to Bryant. It was just an ordinary play, except one man had him down low, and then the other pushed him back against his left leg. Watch his left leg, how it gets caught underneath him.
Sean Jones down on that leg, and Bryant driven over the top on that play by 57 Jerry Robinson, not knowing that that leg was trapped underneath him.
Both the knee and the ankle were injured. George Rogers. And the big running back is across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Rod Martin. Fine 10-year veteran with the Raiders, made the tackle. Big play, Rod Martin.
Some shuffling going on among the linebackers of the Raiders. Brad Van Pelt, who started so long, cut loose, now playing in the Cleveland lineup. And they kept Jerry Robinson and Lyndon King, who was cut loose early by the San Diego Chargers. They're very excited about him. They think he's going to be a valuable addition here.
Rogers hit in the backfield by Sean Jones and Howie Long. Jones, 265 pounds, from Northeastern. Boston, was a two-time letter winner in lacrosse. Can you imagine him with his speed and size in that sport?
Listen, if he's got a stick in his hand, I don't want to get close to him.
He's tough enough with just the normal equipment. Ball back at the 39-yard line and brings up a pass situation, 3rd and 8.
Let's see where they put Howie Long on this play. They've been moving him outside, and I think he's going to be outside again on the open side, out on Joe Jacoby. And I think now he's moving inside. Let's see, right inside on Bostic.
Keith Griffin, and they take too much time. 30 seconds, I believe.
And I think one of the reasons they took too much time was that Howie Long was moving up and down the line, and they wanted to figure out where he was. In fact, Joe Gibbs said there are two people you want to know what they're doing over there. Howie Long is one.
Delay on the offense, 5 yards.
And the other one is Van McElroy. You always want to sense where he is, because he's going to hurt you from his position as a safety.
46-year-old Joe Jackson Gibbs. And he has considerable respect for number 75.
Now, it's not always what Howie does. It's the number of people that he occupies in that offensive line that allows other people to get open. And you have to remember, it is a team defensive philosophy there, too.
There he is, 75 in the middle defensively. Schrader. What a throw to Clark, and it's a first down at the 42. Schrader rolling against his body as a right-hander, and he gunned a 25-yard bullet.
Let's look at how Schrader was able to get that pass. Watch Howie Long as he'll come inside and be double-teamed here. Working inside right there on Russ Grimm. Bostic gets a hold of him. Bostic grabs him from the backside, but Schrader, with his mobility, gets away, and at the last possible second, got that pass off for the first down.
Terrific throw. The play is worth 24 yards. The first down at the 42. Griffin stays in. Rogers is back in. Play action. Wide open. Didier. Out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Another first down. 11 yards for Didier. His first catch today. He was Neil Lomax's top target back at Portland State in their college days.
We have not seen a lot of Didier today, but he's a man you have to respect defensively. Has run as fast as a 4.49 in a 40, and for a big tight end, that is motoring. And you saw his body control there as he picked up the extra yardage in spite of his proximity to the sideline.
Trailing 6-3, the Redskins on the march at the 31, first down. Rogers for 3 to 4 yards.
Dick, they cross into the 30-yard line of the defense on that play, and that's a special territory for the Redskins. They call that the red zone. Once they go across the 30, there are special rules for the quarterback. For example, he is told not to take the sack. They know that they're in field goal range. So he's told if he has to get rid of the football. Now, if they go another 10 yards, Joe Gibbs says we get inside the 20, we can be a little more aggressive because we can still take the sack and have a shot at the field goal.
Rogers, the solo setback, has 45 yards in the game and gets another chance and is inside the 25, where it'll be 3rd down and 3. Time to look at the other scores. Still 10-7. That Charger touchdown on a pass from Fouts to Anderson. 3-0 Philadelphia in the third. 17-0 the Cowboys at Detroit. 21-12 Bengals. 7-3 Houston. Another low-scoring game in Houston. 17-13 Atlanta. No change there. And New Orleans still well in command against Green Bay. Jim Mora going for his first NFL win. Morrow coached Kelvin Bryant with the Stars last year in the USFL. Third and a tough 3. Howie Long in the grass.
Well, that's exactly what the Redskins did not want. And I'm sure there'll be a conversation with the coach and the quarterback on the sideline.
There's a 14-yard sack against the Redskins. Takes them out of field goal range.
Dick, third quarter at the Meadowlands. Giants leading the Chargers 10-7, but the Chargers moving the ball. Dan Fouts goes up top, and Mark Collins steps in front of Trumaine Johnson for the interception. Collins was burned Monday in Dallas, but does the job here.
Back in Washington, 6:20 left, and Steve Cox in punt formation.
Good kick.
Flag down. And it's down at the 5-yard line, covered at the 7. There may be a penalty against the Raiders here.
The Raiders actually pounced on that football. Let's see what happened. Was the ball down? Was there a penalty? Let the officials sort this one out.
It could have been holding.
No, it's an ineligible man downfield for the Redskins on the coverage
Kicking
team.
team had an ineligible man downfield, number 58. There's a 5-yard penalty. Kick it over.
From where the flag was thrown, it was right at the spot where you try to check those outside men going down under the punt. And often that is for defensive holding, but it was not in this case. Sean Burks, 58, rookie free agent from LSU, ticketed for the early release.
Redskins with so many young players concerned about their special teams. They lost 5 of their best 7 special teams players, and experience so important on special teams. But they feel if they can get through these early games without making big mistakes, that they are going to be an exciting special teams unit. And looking at these youngsters they have, I'd agree with them.
McCallum, the deep man for the Raiders, at the 10. Into the end zone. Now the Raiders on that 5-yard penalty gain about 13 yards. Instead of at the 7, they take over at the 20-yard line with just under 6 minutes left in the quarter. First flowers, then a duck decoy. What do you have for me this time?
Well, we have a little question for you.
Okay, well,
we'll talk to you about it after the play. It involves Russ Grimm.
Well, I was going to say that's the answer, Russ Grimm.
No, wrong.
Number 20, Mark Wilson underneath to Marcus Allen, diving to the 26, a gain of 6. All right, let's see about Russ Grimm. Question is, what unique responsibility does Grimm have?
Well, and here is the answer, and it's a lineman's dream. He's the Redskins' unlisted quarterback. Now, we said unlisted because everybody hopes they won't call his number.
He's not the third-string quarterback or the emergency quarterback. He's the unlisted. Don't call me. That's cool. Marcus Allen.
Look out.
Sprinting into the secondary. And a first down at the 33-yard line. Ken Coffey with a tackle. And Marcus Allen, with that rumble, now has unofficially 83 yards. 49 for Rodgers, and the 2 ex-Heisman winners battle head-to-head here in Washington today. 17 yards from extending his record to 11 straight games. 100 yards or more for Allen.
That's interesting. Only 4 backs over 100 yards in 47 games against this Redskin defense, so they're tough to run on.
On first down, Wilson going deep, but no one home except from Redskins, and Green with his speed almost got back for the intercept at the 25. Dokie Williams, the intended receiver.
Dokie over to talk to the official to say, hey, he can't bump me like that. But it was Green who had the better shot at the end of that one. Every time you throw that kind of a pass, though, you stretch the defense. You make them respect your ability to throw the long pass, which means that you start downfield and it's going to give you room underneath.
3 field goals, and that has been it. In case you're just joining us at RFK Stadium, 151st consecutive sellout have watched the Redskins kick 1 and the Raiders 2 field goals, a 6-3 game. Marcus Allen can't kick about his talent. He's out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Good hit by Mel Kaufman, but it's 6 more yards for Marcus Allen. 90 on the game. Well, he must just drive defenses fits when they look at films.
I got to tell you that we were talking about Joe Gibbs talking about the Raiders defense, and we said, well, what about the Raiders offense? He said, the one guy my eyes are on and our defensive eyes are on is Marcus Allen.
3rd down and 4. Shelby Jordan, number 74, has replaced Henry Lawrence at right tackle for the Raiders. Todd Christensen, a tough catch and a 1st down. They needed 4 and got 5 from Christensen. Monty Coleman with good coverage, but an excellent throw.
Is that Christensen's first of the day?
Yes, it
is. They've thrown several times here. Boy, talk about. But he makes the tough catch in traffic, and that's been a trademark of Todd Christensen's.
Christensen, who in 4 years plus the 2 games of this year has caught 300-plus passes. And Art Monk with his 400th catch today, and that comes in 6 years plus 2 games. 1st down. Allen to the Redskins 49. You know, the patience of a man knowing he's in the midst of all those defenders. Allen, to just give it that little pause. What presence. That's the last thing most people would want to do with all those men trying to hit you. Look at this little pause to set up the extra couple.
Yeah, I mentioned the ability to control. There it is. There's the little Rich Malott, 57, had a hold of him, but Allen seems to always be going forward when he ends up on the ground.
2 minutes, 25 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. The Raiders lead 6-3. 2nd down. Frank Hawkins. He has a 1st down at the 40 of the Skins.
And what happens when you ask Marcus Allen to block? Sometimes the man behind him also gets to make a good play. They're looking, too, expecting Allen inside. Outside. Dexter. Not only a blocker in that situation, but also the decoy.
Dexter Manley comes out, and the rookie, number 74, Marcus Cook, is in at defensive end for the Redskins. Marcus Allen going to throw. Or is he? Now he's got some running room. 40, 35. He was still taking a pass, and he was 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage.
Who you kidding, Marcus?
That'll put him very close to 100 yards. Exactly 10 more yards and 100 for Allen as he sets another new record, breaking his own as he goes 11 straight weeks with 100 yards. Oh, my.
I got to tell you again that that's making the big play out of the broken play. He started to throw the ball. There was nobody open downfield. He just reversed it, takes it around the other end, and gets down to where he's just inside of a 1st down. 2nd and less than a foot.
Napoleon McCallum replaces Allen. It's Hawkins up the middle. He's at the 19-yard line, the 18, and a 1st down. Let's check other scores for you. Redskins, 1 minute left. 3rd quarter, 1st down. And before they can run a play, the Redskins and Raiders have contact.
Bruce Davis out of his stance early. Going to be 5-yard penalty, I believe, against the Raiders.
Offense 79, false start.
And again, I think I mentioned the crowd, the home crowd. It got so loud here that I think maybe that impacted Davis, who's off a full count before anyone else, and obviously offsides on the play.
So the Raiders now 1st and 15 at their 23, at the 23 of Washington. Well, the Raiders said the 3 toughest places to play are Denver, where they played last week and lost, here in Washington, and in the Kingdome in Seattle. And they'll play Seattle in a couple of weeks. Wilson to Hawkins. What a tackle. Ken Coffey.
I talked to Ken Coffey yesterday, and of course, when we were here to do a preseason game last year, an early season game, Coffey had just been hurt. They literally had to reconstruct his knee and put it back together. He said, thank God that they were able to do that, and I'm just fortunate to be playing football again. I'll tell you, though, the Redskins love him. He's a team player. He's an all-out player. And you saw there how valuable he is to their defensive scheme.
Former Bobcat at Southwest Texas State. 24-yard line. Second. And a long 15. Wilson going for it all to Christensen. Intercepted in the end zone by Coffey. He must have been reading the playbook. He goes behind the line of scrimmage, 2 yards, makes this classic tackle in the open field to Frank Hawkins, and then he knows how to go the other way.
The thing that's so pretty about this, watch the way he watches the ball all the way and still tracks the receiver, and at the last second goes up and picks the ball off at its highest point. That's one to put in the reel, in the highlight reel.
Now Jay Schrader, last play, third quarter. He goes for the bomb, and it's Lester Hayes on the coverage of Art Monk to break up the play as the third quarter comes to an end here in Washington. And the score, with 1 quarter to go, Ken Coffey kept it at Raiders 6, Redskins 3. The knee and the ankle. Kelvin Bryant injured on the final play of the first half. And Bryant out of uniform, but a reminder that he was a star in the other league. He wears his '84 Philadelphia Stars USFL Championship T-shirt. But now all Redskin, and a disappointed one. Fumbled snap, and Schrader picks it up, throws for a completion. The Monk, 40, 50. Art Monk. That'll go in Art's gallery. Flag is down back at the 37.
The biggest play of the day for the Washington Redskins, and it was a broken play that really upset the balance of the Raider defense.
Oh, the call back, holding.
Lester Hayes, whose job it is to cover Monk, was trying to follow him across behind the line and kind of got lost as he noticed that fumble back in there. Monk took advantage of it.
Offensive holding, number 84, 10-yard penalty from the penalty spot. Back.
Gary Clark, the wide receiver,
trying to help out and got caught using his hands illegally. Here's that play. Now, there's Clark. This is the part of the holding. Now, Clark is looking back over his shoulder, and he'll notice the play. It takes a while to develop. Let's see what he does with his hands here. Well, we missed that part of it. Lester Hayes trying to catch up. Lester is not going to make the tackle.
But he did engage. You could see that Hayes was close enough to make a play had he not been held, apparently. So, instead of a big gain, 42 yards, back it goes.
From the spot of the foul, so it's second and short.
They still got 7 yards out of it. 6-3 the score. We're in the final quarter. George Rogers to the 30-yard line, close to a first down. We have 14 minutes, 15 seconds left in the fourth period, and we're back to that 10-second ticker. Still close in New York. Bears extend their lead to 7. Dallas holding on to the 17-0 advantage in the Silverdome. A 2-point game. Bengals at home. Cleveland by 2 at Houston. 17-13 Atlanta. They're in the fourth quarter in New Orleans. Saints by 2 touchdowns. Here, Ken Coffey's interception in the Washington end zone, denying Mark Wilson And the Raiders a chance to extend their 6-3 lead. Now Washington with a first down at the Skins 30. Underneath to Monk. Flag down as Monk has 12 yards if it counts, but I believe someone was holding Howie Long. Yes.
R.C. Thielman shaking his head. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. It's so hard for those offensive linemen.
Number 69, 10 yards, first down.
Oh, wait a minute. You're about to have sympathy for the offensive linemen when they're allowed to use their hands so liberally?
No. No, I'm not. I do feel sorry for them in one way, that one of the few times we mention their names in a broadcast is when they're caught holding, and they do so many things that are necessary on that field. If you don't have a good offensive line, and the Hogs, one of the finest offensive lines in all of football for many years now, and yet much of what you hear about them is when they make the mistake.
Yeah, you're right about that. But unfortunately, that's just like in basketball. When you show a replay, it's usually to see if an official made a mistake. First and 20.
Look out.
Screen, Griffin. Good block. 20, 30, and Griffin all the way to the 38. So he made up 18 of the 20 before Van McElroy could make the stop.
To run the screenplay effectively, you've got to really make believers out of that defensive line. They got to believe they beat you right here. May tries to cut, and Long gets in there, but there's no way he can make the play from that far back. Archie Griffin filling in for Kelvin Bryant makes a good play there.
Keith Griffin. Archie would be proud of the way he ran.
Archie would be proud of his brother. Archie's not here, but I believe Ray is here in the
That's
stands
right,
today.
and so are the Griffin family. Archie wanted to help our NBC numbers in Columbus, so he's Ball is closer to the 37, so call it 17 yards, second and a short 3. Rogers trying to move the pile. Didn't quite get to the 40, so that'll bring up third down and less than a yard.
Right in behind the unlisted quarterback, Russ Grimm. They love to run in behind that left side of their line, but the Raiders equal to the task here as they stack things up pretty well. It's third and a little less than a yard.
Well, if you ever had a little play-action fake on third and short, this might be the time to do it. Rick Badonic from Maryland, a rookie seventh-round draft pick, number 26, 5'8" and 217 is in the game.
Along with Raleigh McKenzie, Reggie's twin brother, as a third tight end. They got all the beef on the right-hand side offensively.
One tight end, Warren, is in the backfield. He's the up back. This is Griffin. That didn't fool anyone. A loss of 4. Boy, the Raiders were all over that like a bear on honey.
Again, that option look, which really has put them in trouble today. They fumbled earlier on a play similar to this with the option flip. You see how many Raiders getting out there to join in on the tackle, and there the whole troop train full of Redskins back there moving laterally to the line. Boy, I tell you, you got to move aggressively forward if you want a first down.
3 on the tackle and 2 were taking notes. 11:25 left in the fourth quarter. So the Redskins drive stalled by a couple of penalties and that last couple of plays. And it'll be Cox. He has a good distance to the field. A flag down before the ball was kicked. McCallum has room to return from the 18. He gets it to the 30, a 12-yard run back. Now we'll check the penalty.
Number 26 come in the ball game, played on the line. He's illegal, 5-yard penalty.
He did come into the ball game. Badonic
has got to check in if he gets into the slot occupied usually by an offensive lineman.
They decline the penalty. 45-yard kick, 12-yard return.
You know, we talked about Russ Grimm and the possibility that he could be a third quarterback. If he were to come in as a third quarterback, he would have to report to the officials before every play because he would be an ineligible number playing quarterback.
There's the unlisted quarterback of the Redskins and the injured.
in the third quarter. Most recently, this 84-yard thing of beauty from Jim Kelly to Chris Burkett. And suddenly, they lead at Cincy, 26-21.
Here in Washington, it's the Raiders on the move, and Todd Christensen with a dozen from Mark Wilson. Rich Malott, number 57, with a tackle, and a first down out at the 42. Oh, Jim Kelly, he has paid immediate dividends for the Buffalo Bills.
I think the exciting thing about a quarterback like Kelly is that he makes other players on the team even better than they would be if he were not there. I think that's the mark of a great quarterback.
Like adding a great hitter to a lineup. Everyone around him benefits. 6-3, nothing but field goals thus far. 10.5 minutes left in the fourth period. Marcus Allen. Ooh. Showing some leg strength during the pile of the 45.
Today's game is brought to you by Ford and your local Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By the Travelers, one of America's strongest, most experienced financial experts. And by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
Ideal day, sellout crowd as it has been for 20 straight years here in Washington. And a tough defensive struggle. 6-3 Raiders, less than 10 minutes left. Second down and 7. Wilson almost intercepted by Coffey again. Intended for Christensen.
Not a good pass by Wilson. He's under pressure here. Olkowitz coming in, picked up by Hawkins. And that pass clearly behind Todd Christensen. Not only behind him, but there's no way he could even get his hands on it.
We'll have our Budweiser MVP player in a few moments for you. And there's the leading candidate, setting another record. He was tied with Walter Payton 9 in a row. Then last week in the opener, gained 102 at Denver. And he has 102 as we speak today here in Washington. Full blitz, and they got Wilson at the 37-yard line. Mel Kaufman.
Steve Hamilton, number 64, also in there. Mark Wilson unable to see an open receiver downfield. They simply loaded up on him. The pressure will come from the right-hand side. Look at Kaufman right there. Goes by Mark, but looks like he got his face mask. I think the official blew one there as Kaufman reached out and grabbed Mark's face mask, but was able to do it without being apprehended by the official.
Great guy to punt. Darrell Green back at the 21.
Another great kick by Guy.
Green at his 20. Oh, vaulting to the 30 and out of bounds at the 32. And a little extra push and shove. 43-yard kick and 12 on the return. Timeout. 9:23 left. Washington with the ball, trailing by 3. While we were away, the crowd, much like a collegiate audience, chanting in unison, "Go, go" for the Redskins. First down at their 32. Rogers the setback. Schrader going long. He's got a man. Didier is going to be all the way to the 8-yard line. And a flag down as the tackle is made. 60 yards.
Only the second time that the Redskins have gone deep. The first one fell incomplete, but this time they strike pay dirt. They put it down on the 8-yard line, the 9-yard line, and here's a shot of Didier getting deep right there over the outstretched hands of Stacy Turan. We talked about his speed earlier. You saw him finally being tackled there by number 22, Mike Hayes.
Haynes saved a touchdown. First and goal at the 9. They picked up the flag. No penalty.
I don't know what that one was.
Didier to the right. Clark to the left. Rogers up the middle. He's to the 3.5. Boy, Good hard running from George Rogers. Philadelphia has tied the Bears.
Mitch Willis and Lyndon King in on defense for the Los Angeles Raiders as they're going to buckle up their hats, expecting again to see Rogers, I think, right up the gut.
Officially, the longest play of the game, that pass from Schrader to Didier, was 59 yards. Second and goal from the 3. Warren, the up back, Rogers, the tailback. Rogers, touchdown! For the first time in the game, the Redskins lead 9-6, and now a very important point after by Mosley. Timeout with 7 minutes and 27 seconds left. Washington by 4. For 52 minutes for a touchdown to be scored in this game. George Rogers pleases owner Jack Kent Cook. And it didn't take the Redskins long. 1 minute, 56 seconds to go, 68 yards.
Well, it's the Raiders who talk about the vertical game, and they've tried often today. But the big payoff goes to young Jay Schrader and that great pass to Clint Didier.
59 yards, Schrader to Didier to set up the 3-yard touchdown run by Rogers. Cox hits it low and hard. Napoleon McCallum inside his 5. Got some running room. 30, 40. One man to beat Cox. And he gets him out of bounds at the Washington 38-yard line. The ensign delivers a big return for the Raiders. Let's go back to the touchdown and the blocking that led the way.
Even though you know where it's going to go. That's right here. Ronnie McKenzie, one-on-one block on Lyndon here. A 250-pound linebacker just stands him up and drives him outside. Look at Van McElroy trying to get a hold of Rogers, but just like a freight train, he rips into the end zone. Even when you know where they're going, you got to stop him.
And McCallum comes right back with a 60-yard kickoff return, and now it's Marcus Allen smothered at the 36-yard line. It's 10-6, Washington leading. With 7 minutes left in the game. And Olkowitz collaborated on the last hit.
I tell you, when you're down on that field and the crowd is alive and going crazy as they are right now, it's just like feeding those guys adrenaline. You feel the excitement on the field.
Second down 8. Good pressure. Mel Kaufman hit Wilson just as he delivered the ball.
You've got to have time to throw the football. Mark Wilson trying to wait long enough to get a receiver open. But again, Washington successful on the blitz. Here it is for the hits from behind by Kaufman right there, 55. And I think if Mark had had time to throw that football, he would have had an open receiver and very possibly a completion.
Maybe a touchdown. Big play. Third and out. Hawkins and Allen behind Wilson. Flags all over the place. They didn't get the play away.
Bruce Davis, tagged earlier for being offsides, started to move a fraction early, and I got to believe they're having trouble here in the count down there.
Still no signal.
False start, number 79, offense. 5 yards, third down.
Check the other scores around the National Football League, the early games. 2:34 left here in Washington. Fourth quarter. Redskins 10, Raiders 6. Ball at the 41 after the 5-yard penalty. Third and 13. Direction, and the Redskins driven by this exuberant crowd.
Kaufman in the middle, going up inside, and Frank Hawkins tries to get over to get a piece of him, but Mark Wilson, trying to get out of the way, stepped right into the area that Kaufman was occupying, and Kaufman took him to the ground.
So with 6:12 left, the flag down as Guy angles one over Green's head and into the end zone. They'll check the flag. So Napoleon McCallum with a brilliant 60-yard kickoff return for naught, and now another scramble down at the 20-yard line. Quickly separated were the combatants. A reminder, as they resolve that last flag, it's a motion against the Raiders.
I doubt if they're going to make them kick it again, though.
Illegal motion, 52, decline a penalty.
They don't want to give Guy a chance to put it out of bounds. They'll take it on the 20, and right now, you better believe they're thinking about grinding it out, eating that clock.
Days of swine and roses here in Washington. 6:03 left, and here's our lineup next week on NBC. We'll be in that first encounter, Miami and the New York Jets, Denver, Philadelphia, Seattle, New England. That should be an outstanding game. Pittsburgh at Minnesota, an early game. And one late encounter, Houston at Kansas City. Now the Redskins, proud of their running game, and that's what Joe Gibbs' club will try to do. They have a 4-point lead. 6 minutes left. They'd like to chew up a lot of time, stay on the ground. Kaufman and that defense deservedly celebrating quite a stand.
Dick, I said I didn't think it'd end 3-3. I thought we'd see more scoring in this second half. Defenses again dominating. Now it's time for the Raiders to step up. They are hopeful of getting a turnover here, at least stopping the Redskins quickly.
Rodgers behind Schrader for one, maybe two. Sean Jones there first. 75 Howie Long, always a factor.
Howie down inside. He's inside on the center. Flew right around. I think they expected Howie to come in front of them, go behind the block, and make the play.
Quick and strong, the way he uses those forearms to drive off the blocker. Rodgers now with 65 yards on the afternoon. Allen over 100. Rodgers again. He has running room. Dragged down at the 34 by Van McElroy. He had his eyes on the goal line. 12 more yards and a first down, and the clock is down to 5:10.
Not only an important first down in terms of time, but that puts them on good. Robinson had to come and pull it down from behind.
It looked like Russ Grimmer pulled out and threw the block on the corner. A little misdirection. Rodgers, the workhorse, across the 35-yard line. Rod Martin there, along with Bill Pickel. 4:34 left.
One thing you don't want to do if you're the Washington Redskins right now is turn that ball over. I don't think there's a coach in football that talks to his players more about not fumbling the football, not making the dumb play. I'm sure that's something that doesn't have to be said at this point by Joe Gibbs or his staff.
Second, along 7. Rodgers again. And they were waiting for him. Another yard gain to the 37. Pickel. Good, tough hit with McKenzie assisting.
Third down. Still time. 3 minutes and 49 seconds. Plenty of time on the game clock still.
Raiders had the lead in Denver. They had the lead in the fourth quarter today, slender as it may have been at 6-3, and now trail 10-6, 3:30 exactly left. Keith Griffin in on 3rd and 7. Schrader to Clark. Breaks one tackle from Hayes, but a good hit by Jerry Robinson, former All-America at UCLA and Eagle Pro Bowler. Now the starter at that outside linebacking position for the Raiders, and the Redskins will have to punt. Clock shows 3 minutes.
Well, and it's down to this. Schrader and the offense off the field. They didn't run as much time off the clock as they would have liked. 2:50, 2:49 ticking down. I think you'll see Cox take as long as possible here before he kicks this football.
19 seconds left on that 30-second clock, so there's no hurry for the Redskins, and the Raiders apparently aren't going to call time. They had to use a timeout, remember, earlier in this half
to beat the 30-second time frame.
Ooh, he hits a beauty. Wow. McCallum all the way back to his 8. He's down at the 9. Flag is 2. Angelo Snipes made the tackle. 53-yard punt by Steve Cox, who showed the strength of his leg last week when he kicked a 55-yard field goal, the shortest in his career. He has one 55, has one 60, second longest ever.
He's done a great job. Both punters have done a super job today.
Illegal block on the receiving team, number 44. Half the distance, 5-yard line, first down.
Dick, reminiscent of what happened in that 83 game, the game here during the regular season, the longest pass play in Raider history from that game, Plunkett to Branch, 99 yards. One of the crucial plays right here in JFK. I'm sure someone, perhaps Al Davis, flashing back on that memory and saying, wouldn't this be a great time to hook up on something like that?
Plunkett on the sidelines today, and it's up to Mark Wilson. He doesn't have a Branch, but he's got equal speed. And Barksdale, who comes out to the left. 95 yards away is Wilson and the Raiders, trailing 10-6. On his own end zone to Christensen for a 6-yard gain. Tackle by Malott. And unless they hurry, that'll send the clock to the 2-minute timeout. And that's going to be the case. Timeout at RFK. 2 minutes left. The Raiders with the ball. The Redskins with the lead. And here are the charges on the minds of the future of the Raiders and the Redskins, who will play San Diego in the next 2 weeks. Al Davis was the head coach of the Raiders the last time they lost their first 2 games. Had to go all the way back to 1964.
One of the things that's made this Raider team tough over the years, though, is their ability to come back. And it's not over, as they say, till it's over, until the fat lady sings. And that's what they're thinking on the Raiders sideline right now. Redskins thinking heat. Put the heat on Mark Wilson.
Second down and 3. Wilson over the middle. Christensen wide open, 30 and 34-yard line, a first down. Clock running with 1:50 left. Jordan made the tackle. 22-yard play.
They'll go without a huddle. The 2-minute offense is in. Raiders quickly to the line.
They have 2 timeouts left. Good protection underneath to Hawkins. Flag down. Hawkins to the 41, but it looks as if it's going to be holding against Los Angeles.
Henry Lawrence, number 70, locked up on number 71, Charles Mann, and that's a costly mistake.
Offensive holding, number 70.
.132 left. Denies the gain underneath, and 10 yards the other way to the 29.
Boy, you just can't make mistakes in the critical drives. Right down to the gun here. Clock ticking, 1:32. That's an extra 10 yards you got to go back and get.
Defense loosens the deep defense. Looking for something big. Instead, they throw underneath to Christensen to the 39-yard line. Short of the first down. Darrell Green with a tackle. It'll be second and about 5. No huddle, 1:16, 1:15 as you see the clock tick away the last seconds of this game. It's Hawkins, first down to the Washington 47-yard line. Timeout Los Angeles with 1:07 left in the game. A field goal won't do it. The Redskins, with the only touchdown of the game, have taken the lead by 4. The Raiders. Wilson down the middle. It's going to be almost intercepted. Curtis Jordan as that ball flopping through the secondary. Todd Christensen was the closest Raider. That one didn't come close to a Raider receiver.
Barksdale down inside. And again, I think that's where inexperience will hurt you. He's not quite a known factor for the Raiders. Still very green. Did not play, as you mentioned, Dick, in college. That ball thrown over the top. He was the man that they wanted on that particular play.
Wilson now 19 for 35. No touchdowns, 2 intercepts. Christensen, and he goes out of bounds with a first down at the 28-yard line. And 54 seconds left. Well, Christensen's been the busy man on this drive. 6 catches now for him. 81 yards.
Todd Christensen. Want to be a running back. Oh, what a tight has become. In the defense. He can run the football once he gets his hands on it.
Many of the fans here at RFK standing. Tension building. Final seconds. 54 left. 10-6 Washington. Going deep for Williams. Dokie Williams had a step on Darrell Green.
Green closing that distance quickly. They continue to try and get deep on Green. The man that's that ball just over the outstretched arms, and Dokie Williams, I don't think he could have gotten any further in the air if he'd tried all day long.
He's a long jumper, almost 26 feet, and a triple jumper over 55 feet. Still didn't have enough. Second and 10. The crowd rocking our cameras as they cheer.
The blitz is on.
They pick up the blitz. Williams again, and Green breaks it up.
I don't think it would have been complete anyway, Dick. I think he was out of bounds on the far side. But again, covered man-to-man over there by Darrell Green, who's getting a workout here.
A couple of interesting calls, Merlin. They got it down to the 33, and they went away from the short pass, and a couple of bombs that just missed.
Let's see where he comes down. He would have been out, I believe, well out of bounds on that particular. Caught the ball.
42 seconds remain, 3rd and 10.
Now, do you go for the first down or you continue to drive it in the end zone? I think you better try and pick the first down here. And the noise won't help.
It won't help the Raiders, but it really charges the Redskins.
The Raiders call timeout as the Redskins record their 5th sack of the day. Number 71, Charles Mann, breaking in from the outside. You'll see him. The blitz again right there. Curtis Jordan up the middle. Hawkins picks him up. But Wilson knows he's going to be under the heat. And there comes Mann from the far side. There's no way he's going to get away with that one.
Mel Kaufman injured on the play. 38 seconds left. 4th down. At the 39, they have to get inside the 18 for a first down, and then be sure they get out of bounds if they're to keep the drive alive. Last week against Denver, the same spot, 4th down, and Wilson had to eat the ball when Rulon Jones sacked him in Denver to assure the Broncos the win. 10-6, low scoring, but delightfully entertaining for this enthusiastic sellout crowd in Washington. And Schrader's longest pass in the NFL, 59 yards to Didier, his longest reception, the difference in the game. Last call for the Raiders. And Washington celebrates.
Climb and reclimb the emotional ladder only to find yourself dropping off the other side at times. It's been that kind of day for Mark Wilson.
No timeouts left for the Raiders, so this is just a matter of executing a snap and let the final 24 seconds tick away. Darrell Green with his first interception of a new season. Joe Gibbs is 2-0. The Raiders, for the first time in 22 years, are 0-2. And the most valuable players are the Washington Redskins. And in honor of the entire Redskin team, you talked about a team concept and not a individual one, that it's a conservative blue collar. This was a team victory for Washington. They're the Budweiser most valuable players, and Budweiser will make